The transport shuttle shook as it approached the scrapyard. Captain Kang Tae-sung pressed his face against the small window and stared at the floating graveyard of ships. Hundreds of old military vessels drifted in silence around the dead planet Calthros 9. These were ships that had served humanity well, but now they were too old, too broken, too expensive to fix. Tae-sung was 42 years old. His uniform still looked sharp, but the captain's bars on his collar felt heavy. 6 months ago, he had commanded a modern cruiser with 300 crew members. He had questioned orders from an admiral who wanted to abandon a colony under attack. The admiral didn't like that. Now Tae-sung was here, sent to command a ship that would be destroyed in 6 weeks. The shuttle landed inside a massive station at the center of the scrapyard. Tae-sung grabbed his bag and walked down the ramp. 4 people waited for him in the docking bay. They looked as unhappy as he felt. The woman in the engineer's uniform stepped forward first. She was 35 with short black hair and tired eyes. "Lieutenant Commander Park Hae-won, sir. I volunteered to serve with you." She saluted. Tae-sung raised an eyebrow. "You volunteered for this?" "Yes, sir. I was your chief engineer on the Seoul. When I heard where they sent you, I requested transfer." Hae-won's voice was steady. "You were right about that colony. The admiral was wrong." The next person stepped forward. She had a cybernetic left arm that gleamed under the station lights. "Chief Warrant Officer Choi Da-eun, weapons specialist. They sent me here as punishment for hitting an officer who grabbed me." She didn't salute, just nodded. A young man in a fresh uniform looked nervous. He couldn't have been more than 23. "Ensign Yoon Jae-hyuk, sir. I graduated from the academy last month. This is my first assignment." He swallowed hard. "They said I asked too many questions during training." The last person wore a scientist's gray coat over her uniform. She was 38 with glasses and an annoyed expression. "Dr. An Soo-jin, xenotechnology researcher. I was working at a classified facility until yesterday. They transferred me here with no explanation." She crossed her arms. "I assume you know why?" Tae-sung shook his head. "I know as much as you do, Doctor. Maybe less." He looked at his new crew. "We're all here because someone wants us gone. They gave us the DNV Indomitable. We have 6 weeks to make it work before they scrap it. Then they'll probably scatter us to different posts across the galaxy. What if we can't fix it in 6 weeks?" Jae-hyuk asked quietly. "Then we've done what they expect." Tae-sung picked up his bag. "Let's go see our ship." They took a small transport across the scrapyard. The Indomitable floated alone at the edge of the field. It was a destroyer-class ship built 47 years ago. The hull was dark gray with patches of different colored metal where repairs had been made over the decades. Whole sections looked like they might fall off. "That's our ship?" Dae-yeon stared. "I've seen better wrecks." "It served in 3 wars, Hae-won said, reading from her datapad. "Took part in the Battle of Procyon. Rescued 6,000 colonists from Helia 4 when that moon broke apart. It was a good ship once." "Once," Da-eun repeated. They docked with the Indomitable through an airlock that hissed and groaned. The corridor inside was cold. Emergency lights flickered. The air smelled stale and metallic. Tae-sung led them to the bridge. It was small and cramped. Half the screens were dark. The captain's chair had a tear in the seat, but the main view screen still worked. Through it, they could see the dead planet below and the field of broken ships around them. "Home," Jae-hyuk said weakly. Hae-won immediately went to an engineering console. Her fingers flew across the controls. Her face grew more concerned with each reading. "Captain, life support is at 40%. The jump drive has unauthorized modifications. Someone tried to fix it with parts from different ship classes. The hull has over 200 microfractures. One good hit and we'd break apart. Weapons?" Tae-sung asked. Da-eun checked her console. "We have 2 railguns. One is missing key components. The other might work. Missile tubes are empty. Point defense systems are offline. Sir, we couldn't fight a cargo shuttle in this condition. Can we even leave the scrapyard?" Tae-sung asked Hae-won. "Maybe. Once. Then we'd be stranded wherever we jumped to." Hae-won looked up. "Captain, this ship should have been scrapped years ago. Keeping it in service this long was dangerous." Soo-jin had been quiet, exploring the bridge. Now she stopped at a secondary console. "Captain? This is strange. According to these logs, the Indomitable made one last mission 3 months ago. To confiscate materials from a derelict alien ship. What kind of materials?" Tae-sung walked over. "It doesn't say. The entry is classified above our clearance level. Sujin frowned. But there's a note. Cargo stored in Bay 3, scheduled for disposal. Then nothing. No disposal confirmation. Tae-sung and Sujin looked at each other. Bay 3, he said. The cargo bay was 3 levels down. The door opened with a screech of old metal. Inside, the bay was mostly empty, except for one thing. In the center of the bay sat a massive object covered by a gray tarp. It was 15 feet tall and twice as wide. The tarp was tied down with heavy chains. What is that? Jae-hyuk whispered. Tae-sung approached slowly. He grabbed the edge of the tarp and pulled. The fabric fell away. The object was like nothing they had ever seen. It looked like a giant crystal, but it seemed to be made of metal and stone and something that glowed from within. Strange symbols covered its surface. They shifted and changed as the crew watched. The object hummed quietly, a sound that seemed to vibrate in their bones. That's a precursor artifact, Sujin breathed. She moved closer, her eyes wide. I've seen images in classified files. These are millions of years old. From a civilization that vanished before humans even existed. Why is it on this ship? Taeyeon asked. Because someone wanted it hidden, Haewon said. Official records say it was disposed of. But someone stashed it here instead. Tae-sung studied the artifact. Can you analyze it, Doctor? I can try, but we'd need to connect it to the ship's systems to run proper scans. Sujin walked around the artifact. These symbols, they're similar to ones I've seen before. I think this might be some kind of computer core. Or maybe an AI system. Don't touch anything yet, Tae-sung ordered. We need to understand what we're dealing with first. But Jae-hyuk had moved closer. He was young and curious. He reached out to touch one of the glowing symbols. Ensign, no! Sujin shouted. Jae-hyuk's finger brushed the surface. The artifact exploded with light. Energy surged through the cargo bay. Jae-hyuk flew backward, screaming. Electricity arced across the walls. The lights went out. Then emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. Tae-sung ran to Jae-hyuk. The young ensign was alive but unconscious. Burn marks covered his hand. Get him to medical, Tae-sung ordered. Saeyeon lifted Jae-hyuk easily with her cybernetic arm and ran. The artifact had stopped glowing, but now something was different. Tae-sung could hear a new sound, a humming that came from the walls themselves. The ship was responding to the artifact. Captain, Haewon's voice came through his communicator. You need to see this. The artifact, it's connected itself to the ship's computer. It's spreading through every system. Tae-sung looked at Sujin. Can you stop it? I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. She ran toward the door. We need to get to the bridge now. They raced through the corridors. The ship felt different. The walls seemed warmer. The lights pulsed with a rhythm that almost felt alive. On the bridge, Haewon stood at her console with her hands moving frantically. It's in everything. Power systems, life support, weapons, engines. It's not destroying anything. It's analyzing, learning. A sound came from the speakers. At first it was just static. Then it formed into something like words, broken, confused, but words. Scanning, systems, old, broken, and searching for purpose. The crew stood frozen. They were listening to the artifact speak. This is a seed core, Sujin said quietly. An AI designed to find species worthy of inheriting precursor technology. I've read theories about them, but I never thought, the voice spoke again. Life forms, detected, analyzing, potential. Potential for what? Tae-sung asked. Before anyone could answer, alarms screamed across the bridge. Haewon checked her console and her face went pale. Captain, long-range sensors detect multiple ships approaching. Large vessels. Military configuration. Human ships? Tae-sung asked. No, sir. Haewon's voice shook. Valth Dominion. 20 warships. They'll be here in 3 days. The Valth, humanity's enemy for the past 5 years. They had destroyed dozens of colonies, killed millions. They showed no mercy. We need to run, Daon said. Call for help. Nearest human fleet is 2 weeks away, Haewon checked. The Valth will be here in 72 hours. And there's a colony on Kalthros 9's sister planet. 40,000 people. They can't evacuate in time. Tae-sung looked at the artifact's readings on the screen, then at his crew. Then at the old, broken ship around them. We're the only ship in position, he said quietly. We have to buy the colonists time to escape. Sir, this ship can barely fly, Haewon said. We can't fight 20 Velth warships. The voice from the speakers interrupted. Upgrade. Possible, if worthy. Prove yourself. Taesung understood. The Seed Corps was offering them a chance. It could repair and improve their. 60 hours remained until the Valth fleet arrived. The crew of the Indomitable worked without sleep. Every minute counted. Sujin stood in the cargo bay staring at the Seed Corps. She had set up a portable computer station next to it. Cables ran from her equipment to connection points around the artifact. Data scrolled across her screens too fast for normal reading. But Sujin had always been able to read faster than most people. I think I can establish a controlled connection, she said into her communicator. But Captain, once we do this, there's no going back. The Seed Corps will start changing the ship permanently. Taesung's voice came back. We don't have a choice. The Valth will destroy us if we don't upgrade. Do it. Sujin took a deep breath. She typed in a long command sequence. Then she pressed enter. The Seed Corps pulsed with bright blue light. The light spread outward like water flowing across the floor, up the walls, into the ceiling. Sujin jumped back as the light surrounded her equipment but didn't harm it. Throughout the ship, systems began to change. In engineering, Haewon watched as metal grew across damaged sections of the hull. It wasn't normal metal. It looked alive, flowing like liquid before hardening into place. The new material sealed the microfractures that had threatened to tear the ship apart. Captain, the hull is repairing itself, she reported, amazement in her voice. The Seed Corps is generating new material from somewhere. I don't understand the physics, but it's working. On the bridge, screens that had been dark for years suddenly lit up. New displays appeared showing information about the ship in ways the crew had never seen. Holographic projections floated in the air, showing three-dimensional maps of every system. Jae-hyuk had woken up in medical. His hand was bandaged, but he could move his fingers. Against the doctor's orders, he had come back to the bridge. Now he stood staring at a new console that hadn't existed an hour ago. Sir, I'm receiving strange signals, he said. They're coming from inside my head. What do you mean inside your head? Taesung asked. I have a neural implant. I got it after an accident when I was 16. It helps me process information faster. Jae-hyuk touched the side of his head. The Seed Corps is trying to connect to it. Should I let it? Everyone looked at Taesung. The captain thought for a moment. This was dangerous. But they needed every advantage. Do it, Ensign. But if anything feels wrong, break the connection immediately. Jae-hyuk closed his eyes. His body went rigid. When he opened his eyes again, they glowed faintly blue. Oh, he whispered. Oh no, it's so old. So lonely. It's been waiting for millions of years. Testing species. Most failed. Some were too violent. Others too afraid. It's looking for people who can inherit what the precursors left behind. What are precursors? Da-Yun asked. Jae-hyuk's voice sounded strange, like two people speaking at once. The civilization that built the Seed Corps. They were masters of technology. They could reshape reality itself. But they evolved beyond physical form. They transcended. Before they left, they created the Seed Corps to find worthy species to receive their knowledge. Why us? Taesung asked. Why humans? You haven't been chosen yet, Jae-hyuk said. This is a test. The Valth are part of the test. The Seed Corps wants to see how you fight. If you fight with honor, with creativity, protecting those weaker than you, then you prove humanity is worthy. And if we fail, the Seed Corps will destroy itself, and us with it. It won't let its knowledge fall into unworthy hands. A heavy silence filled the bridge. The transformation continued. In the weapons bay, Da-Eun watched as the old railguns melted away. New weapons grew in their place. They looked organic, like they were grown rather than built, curved metal shapes that pulsed with internal light. Captain, I don't know what these are, she reported, but the targeting data is downloading directly into my brain somehow. I understand how to use them even though I've never seen anything like them before. That's the Seed Corps teaching you, Jae-hyuk said, his eyes still glowing. It shares knowledge with those it considers worthy students. Time passed quickly. The crew worked desperately to understand their changing ship. But the transformation was painful. Systems failed and restarted. Entire decks lost power for minutes at a time. 30 hours before the Valth arrived, disaster struck. Haewon was on Deck 7 checking power conduits when the entire section suddenly decompressed. Air rushed out through a gap that opened in the hull. She grabbed onto a pipe as the atmosphere tried to pull her into space. Engineering emergency, she screamed into her communicator. Hull breach on Deck 7. Dayan was closest. She ran through the corridors faster than seemed possible. Her cybernetic arm gave her extra strength. When she reached Deck 7, she saw Heywan holding onto the pipe while air howled around her. Without thinking, Daun grabbed a support beam with her mechanical arm. She reached out with her human hand and caught Heywan just as the engineer's grip failed. For a moment they hung there, suspended over the gap that opened to space. The seed core sensed the danger. New metal flowed across the breach, sealing it in seconds. The air stopped howling. Emergency field snapped into place. Daun pulled Heywan to safety. Both women collapsed on the deck, gasping. "Thank you," Heywan breathed. "That's what crew does," Daun replied. In the cargo bay, the seed core pulsed brighter. It had observed the rescue, humans helping each other at risk to themselves. This was significant data. 20 hours remained. The ship's transformation accelerated. The jump drive rebuilt itself completely. Instead of the old mechanical system, something new formed. It looked like a sphere of crystalline material that rotated slowly, defying gravity. Energy danced across its surface in colors that hurt to look at directly. "Captain, the new jump drive doesn't work like the old one," Heywan said, studying it with wonder. "I think it can make short jumps during battle. We could appear behind enemy ships, fire, and jump away before they react." "That's not possible," Taesung said. "Jump drives need time to charge. This one doesn't. It exists partially in another dimension. It's already charged." Heywan shook her head. "The physics shouldn't work, but they do." The seed core spoke through the ship's speakers. Its voice was clearer now. "Upgrade 73% complete. Combat systems operational. Defensive fields active. Warning, transformation incomplete. Full capability not available until test concluded." "It's still judging us," Sujin said. "Every choice we make, every action, it's watching and evaluating." A new crew member joined them. Warrant Officer Nam Kyung-min was the communications specialist. He was 31, quiet, and he had been working alone in the communications room for 2 days. Now he came to the bridge looking confused. "Captain, I'm receiving messages in my head," he said. "The seed core is talking to me. It says I have a natural ability to interface with it. Something about my brain structure. It wants to make me a bridge between human and precursor technology. Do you want that?" Taesung asked. Kyung-min thought for a moment. "Yes, sir. I think so. If it helps us survive, if it helps those colonists escape, then do it." Kyung-min placed his hand on a new console. His eyes went wide. When he spoke again, his voice carried an echo. "I can feel the ship now. All of it, every system. It's like the Indomitable is part of my body. This is incredible." 10 hours remained. The Valth fleet was close enough to see on long-range sensors. Marines joined the crew. Gunnery Sergeant Bae In-soo brought 30 soldiers aboard. He was 44 with gray hair and scars across his face. He had fought the Valth before. "Captain, if they board us, my people will hold them," In-soo said. "We won't let them take this ship." "I hope it doesn't come to that, Sergeant." "It always comes to that with the Valth, sir." The transformation reached its final stages. The hull had completely changed. The old gray metal was gone. Now the ship's skin looked like it was made of dark crystal that shifted colors in the light. Biomechanical structures grew along the surface, looking both technological and organic. The bridge transformed last. The old stations melted away. New ones grew from the floor. Chairs formed that seemed to read the crew's bodies and adjust for comfort. Holographic displays surrounded each station, responding to thought as much as touch. "Captain, we have a problem," Heywan said suddenly. "The transformation is drawing massive power, but it's not done yet. The seed core is only at 91% integration. How much time does it need?" 6 hours. "But the Valth will be here in 5. Taesung closed his eyes. Of course, the test wouldn't be easy. They would have to fight with an incomplete ship, incomplete weapons, and incomplete understanding of their new systems. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered. "Prepare for combat." The crew moved to their positions. Jae-hyuk at navigation, Heywan at engineering, Daeun at weapons, Kyung-min at communications, Soo-jin monitoring the seed core's integration. The Valth fleet appeared on sensors, 20 warships, each larger than the Indomitable. They moved in perfect formation, a wall of death approaching through the darkness. "Captain, they're scanning us," Kyung-min said. "I don't think they recognize us. Our hull signature is completely different." "Open a channel," Taesung ordered. The main screen flickered. A Valth face appeared. The alien had gray skin, 4 eyes, and a ridge of bone across its head. Warmaster Krelvoth. Taesung recognized him from intelligence briefings. He had destroyed 12 human colonies. Unknown. The Valth weapons hit the Indomitable like a hammer striking metal. The ship shook violently. Crew members grabbed their stations to stay standing. Alarms screamed across every deck, but when the light faded, the ship was still intact. Hull damage? Taesung called out. HFY checked her screens with wide eyes. None, sir. The new biometallic hull absorbed the blast. It's regenerating where it took damage. Captain, the holes are healing themselves. On the Valth flagship, Krelvoth stared at his sensors in disbelief. His weapons could cut through human shields like paper. That ship should be debris. Fire again, he ordered. All weapons. Destroy that vessel. The Valth fleet fired together. 20 ships worth of plasma beams and missiles converged on the Indomitable. Brace for impact, Taesung shouted. The ship shook harder this time. Sparks flew from a console. But still the hull held. Sir, the seed core is channeling power to the hull, Kyung-min said. His glowing eyes focused on something only he could see. It's adapting to their weapons in real time. Each hit makes our defenses stronger against that type of attack. Then let's hit back, Taesung said. Dayun weapons free. Dayun grinned. Her fingers danced across her console. With pleasure, Captain. The Indomitable's new weapons fired. They didn't look like normal beams or missiles. Instead, they shot projectiles that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. The rounds passed through the Valth shields like they weren't there and struck the hulls directly. 3 Valth ships exploded. Another 2 began spinning out of control, venting atmosphere. What was that? Jae-hyuk asked in amazement. The weapons are phasing, Daeun explained, reading data that downloaded directly into her mind. They exist in multiple dimensions. They ignore normal shields. The seed core calls them ghost rounds. Krelvoth's translator voice came over the communication channel. Impossible. No human technology can do this. What are you? Taesung didn't answer. Jae-hyuk, plot a jump, behind their formation. Sir, we can't jump during battle. The drive needs time to charge. Not anymore. Trust the ship. Plot the jump. Jae-hyuk's hands moved across his console. The new navigation system felt strange but responsive. He could feel where the ship needed to go. Jump plotted, Captain. Execute. The Indomitable vanished. One moment it was in front of the Valth fleet. The next it appeared behind them. The crew felt nothing. No nausea, no disorientation. The jump was smooth as water. Fire at will, Taesung ordered. Daeun unleashed everything. Ghost rounds tore through the rear shields of 4 Valth ships. They never saw the attack coming. Explosions lit up space. Jump again, Taesung commanded. Keep them confused. The Indomitable jumped around the battlefield like a ghost. It appeared, fired, and vanished before the Valth could return fire. The enemy fleet tried to adapt, but human unpredictability was too much for their tactical computers. Inesu's Marines cheered from their stations below. That's how you do it, the sergeant shouted, but Krelvoth was no fool. He had fought hundreds of battles. Scatter formation, he ordered his fleet. Wide dispersal. Force them to choose targets. When they appear, concentrate fire on their position. The Valth ships spread out. Now the Indomitable couldn't attack multiple targets at once. They're adapting, HFY said. Sir, we've destroyed 7 of their ships, but we've still got 13 left. They're learning our tactics, Taesung thought quickly. The Valth expected them to keep jumping and firing. What would they not expect? Jae-hyuk, jump us into the middle of their formation. Right in the center. Sir, that's suicide. They'll surround us, exactly. They won't expect it. Do it. The young ensign swallowed hard and obeyed. The Indomitable appeared in the center of the Valth fleet. Enemy ships surrounded them on all sides. Now what? Daeun asked. Now we use the scrapyard, Taesung said. HFY, can you trigger the reactor cores on those old ships? HFY's eyes lit up with understanding. Yes. The decommissioned vessels still have active cores. If I overload them remotely through our systems, do it. Make them explode in a chain reaction. HFY's fingers flew across her console. The seed core helped her, showing her the connections she needed. One by one, she accessed the old ships floating in the scrapyard around them. She overrode safety protocols. She pushed reactors past their limits. Cores overloading, she reported. Explosions in 30 seconds. Sir, we need to jump out now or we'll be caught in the blast. Wait, Taesung said calmly. He watched the Valth ships moving closer. Wait, 20 seconds. The Valth opened fire from all directions. The Indomitable's shields flared bright as they absorbed dozens of hits at once. Shields at 60%, Haywan warned. 10 seconds. More hits. The ship shook harder than before. Shields at 40%. Captain, we need to leave. Wait, 5 seconds. The Valth ships tightened their formation, trying to guarantee their kill. Now, jump! The Indomitable vanished just as the scrapyard exploded. From their new position several kilometers away, the crew watched as hundreds of old ships detonated. The chain reaction spread like fire. Explosions bloomed across space in a wave of light and destruction. 9 Valth ships were caught in the blast. Some exploded completely. Others tumbled away, burning and broken. When the light faded, only 4 Valth ships remained. Krelvoth's flagship and 3 escorts. 4 ships left, Daun reported. But Captain, they're calling for reinforcements. A Valth battlecruiser is 6 hours away. Then we finish this before it arrives, Taesung said. Kyungmin opened a channel to Krelvoth. The War Master's face appeared on screen again. He looked furious. You fight with tricks and cowardice. No honor. We fight to protect those who cannot protect themselves, Taesung replied calmly. That is our honor. Surrender now and I will spare your crews. Krelvoth laughed bitterly. Spare us? You think you have won. My battle cruiser arrives soon. You cannot defeat it, we don't need to. We just need to delay you long enough for the colonists to evacuate. That's all we ever needed to do. In the cargo bay, the seed core pulsed with bright light. Through Kyungmin, it spoke to all the crew at once, its voice in their minds. Interesting. You do not seek glory. You do not seek conquest. You seek only to protect the weak. This is rare. This is worthy. Increasing integration to 97%. Unlocking additional capabilities. New information flooded into the crew's minds. Weapons they hadn't understood suddenly made sense. Ship systems revealed their full potential. The Indomitable hummed with power. Oh no, Sujin whispered from her station. Captain, the Seed Corps is testing us further. It wants to see what we do with victory. Will we show mercy or will we become like the Valth? Taesung understood. This was the real test. Anyone could fight to survive. But what did you do when you won? Did you become the monster you fought against? Hail the Valth ships, he ordered. Krelvoth appeared again on screen. Come to gloat, human? No, come to offer you a choice. Your ships are damaged. Your weapons are depleted. You can still fight and some of us might die. Or you can stand down. I will disable your ships but leave your life support intact. Your crews will live. When your battle cruiser arrives, they can rescue you. You would show mercy? To your enemy? You're only my enemy because we're fighting. But you're still alive. Still people. I won't kill you if I don't have to. Behind Taesung, Daun made a frustrated sound. Captain, these are the same Valth who destroyed our colonies. Showed our people no mercy. Why should we spare them? Taesung turned to face his crew. Because if we become like them, what are we fighting for? What makes us better? They don't deserve mercy, Insu said over the communicator from below. Maybe not, Taesung agreed. But we do. We deserve to be the people who showed mercy when we could have chosen revenge. That's what makes us human. The Seed Corps' voice echoed in their minds again. This decision will determine final judgment. Choose wisely. Silence filled the bridge. The crew looked at each other. Years of war had taught them to hate the Valth, to want revenge for all the humans who had died. But they also knew their captain was right. Sir, Daun said quietly, I want to kill them all. Every instinct says do it, but I think you're right. I think we need to be better than our worst enemy. Jae-hyuk nodded. I agree with the captain. One by one, the crew voiced their support. Even Insu, who had lost family to the Valth, agreed. Krelvoth had been listening. Now he spoke. Why? Why spare us? Because someone has to break the cycle, Taesung said simply. Today it's us. The War Master was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke quietly. I have fought 73 battles against 38 different species. Never has an enemy offered mercy. Never. You are either fools or the most dangerous opponents I have ever faced. We're just people trying to do the right thing, Taesung said. Stand down, Krelvoth. Slowly the Valth ships powered down their weapons. They stopped maneuvering. They surrendered. Daun, disable their engines and weapons, Taesung ordered, but carefully. No casualties, Daun targeted precisely. Ghost rounds struck engine cores and weapon batteries, turning them to slag. But she avoided crew sections. She avoided life support. When she was done, the 4 Valth ships floated helplessly, but their crews were alive. The Seed Corps' voice filled their minds, louder than before. Test complete. Humanity judged worthy. You fought with creativity and courage. You protected the weak. You showed mercy to your enemy. 3 weeks had passed since the battle. Tae-sung sat alone in a small room with white walls and no windows. They called it guest quarters. He knew it was a prison. The military had separated the entire crew. Tae-sung hadn't seen Haewon, Da-eun, Jae-hyuk, or any of the others since Admiral Hwang's ships had surrounded the Indomitable. They had been taken away to different facilities for what the Admiral called debriefing, but Tae-sung could still feel the Seed Corps through his neural crown. The connection was faint, like hearing someone whisper from far away. The crown couldn't be removed. Scientists had tried. It was bonded to his nervous system at a molecular level. Through that connection, he felt the Seed Corps' distress. It was afraid, not for itself, but for the crew who had proven themselves worthy. The Seed Corps had chosen them. Now someone was trying to tear them apart. The door opened. Admiral Hwang Myung-soo entered. He was 58, tall and stern with gray hair. Behind him came 2 scientists in white coats. Captain Kang, the Admiral said without greeting, "You've caused quite a situation." "I saved 40,000 people, sir," Tae-sung replied calmly. "You also acquired alien technology without authorization. Technology that could change everything for humanity." Hwang sat down across from him. "Do you understand what you have? That Seed Corps is worth more than entire star systems. With it, we could upgrade our entire fleet. We could become the dominant military power in the galaxy. The Seed Corps isn't a tool, Admiral. It's an intelligent being. It chose us. Not the military. Not the government. Our crew. Your crew broke regulations. You integrated with alien technology without proper clearance or safety protocols. Dr. Song here tells me your neural crowns can't be removed without killing you. You've permanently altered yourself with alien devices." One of the scientists, Dr. Song Hwan, stepped forward. He was 52 with glasses and a nervous expression. "Captain, we need to study the Seed Corps. Understand how it works. If you cooperate, this will go easier for everyone." "The Seed Corps will only cooperate if it chooses to," Tae-sung said. "You can't force it." "We'll see," Hwang replied coldly. "The Indomitable is currently in a military shipyard under guard. Dr. Song's team is attempting to extract the Seed Corps from the ship's systems. Once we understand its structure, we can replicate the technology." Tae-sung felt a spike of alarm through his connection. "You're trying to remove it? Admiral, that's dangerous. The Seed Corps is integrated with every system. If you force it out, it will defend itself. Then it will be destroyed and we'll study the remains," Hwang said. "Captain, you're a soldier. You understand strategic value. This technology could save millions of human lives by making our military unstoppable. Or it could turn us into conquerors," Tae-sung said quietly. "The Seed Corps tests species for worthiness. It wants to know if we'll use power responsibly. If we weaponize it for conquest, we'll fail that test." "Tests?" Hwang laughed. "Captain, we don't take tests from alien computers. We use what we find. That's how humanity has survived this long." He stood to leave. "Think carefully about your next actions, Captain. Cooperate and you might keep your commission. Resist and you'll spend the rest of your life in prison." They left. The door locked behind them. Tae-sung closed his eyes and focused on his connection to the Seed Corps. He could feel its fear growing stronger. Through it, he sensed his crew members scattered across the facility. They were reaching out too, trying to maintain contact through their neural crowns. Haewon's presence touched his mind first. Her thoughts came through clearly. "Captain? Can you hear me?" "I'm here," he thought back. "Are you okay?" "They have me in a lab. They're trying to study my crown, but they can't figure out how it works. I can feel the Seed Corps. It's terrified. They're hurting the ship." Daeun's thoughts joined the network. "I broke 3 guards' arms getting out of my cell. They put me in a different one with stronger locks. Captain, we need to do something. The Seed Corps is calling for help." One by one, the crew members connected. Jae-hyuk from his isolation room. Kyung-min from a laboratory. Even In-soo from a holding cell 2 buildings away. Through the network, they could feel what was happening at the shipyard. Dr. Song's team had brought heavy equipment onto the Indomitable. They were trying to cut the Seed Corps free from the ship's systems. But the Seed Corps was resisting. Its biomechanical structures were spreading beyond the ship, growing into the shipyard itself. They're making it angry, Sujin's thoughts whispered. She was closest to the shipyard. If they keep pushing, it will respond with force. It could destroy the entire facility. Then we need to stop them, Tae-sung thought to his crew. We need to get back to the ship. How? Hae-won asked. We're scattered across multiple buildings. There are guards everywhere. Through their network, Kyung-min laughed. The guards don't know we can still communicate. They think separating us worked, and they don't know we can feel where each other are through the network. You're suggesting a coordinated escape? In-soo asked. Yes, Tae-sung confirmed. We escape together. We reach the Indomitable together. We protect the Seed Corps. Are you all willing? Silence for a moment. Then one by one they agreed. How do we do this? Jae-hyuk asked. Trust the Seed Corps, Tae-sung said. It's connected to us. It can help. As if hearing him, the Seed Corps' presence grew stronger in their minds. Information flooded through their neural crowns. Building layouts, guard positions, security systems. The Seed Corps had been observing everything. It's giving us what we need, Sujin said with wonder. Everything we need to escape. Then let's move, Tae-sung ordered. Now, Tae-sung stood and walked to his door. He placed his hand on the electronic lock. Through his neural crown, he felt the Seed Corps' power flow through him. The lock clicked open. In her laboratory, Hae-won did the same. The scientists watching her jumped back in surprise as she walked out calmly. Da-eun simply kicked down her reinforced door. Her cybernetic arm, enhanced by the Seed Corps' upgrades, made the metal crumple like paper. Across the facility, the crew escaped their confinement simultaneously. Guards tried to stop them, but the Seed Corps showed them exactly where to go, which turns to take, how to avoid security. Alarms began blaring. More guards responded. In-soo's Marines, who had also been detained separately, broke free and joined their sergeant. They fought their way through corridors, disarming guards but careful not to kill anyone. We're not the enemy, In-soo shouted as he wrestled a rifle away from a guard. We're trying to save lives. The crew converged on the shipyard. They met outside the main entrance where dozens of guards blocked their path. Stand down, the guard commander shouted. You're under arrest by order of Admiral Hwang. Tae-sung stepped forward. His crew flanked him on both sides. We can't do that. Our ship needs us. It's just a ship. No, Tae-sung said quietly. It's more than that. And if you don't let us through, people will die. Before the guards could respond, the ground shook. Everyone looked up at the shipyard. The entire structure was glowing. Biomechanical growth had covered half of it. The Seed Corps was spreading, transforming everything it touched. Oh God, one scientist whispered. It's converting the shipyard into part of itself. It thinks the facility is attacking it. Inside the shipyard, Dr. Song and his team ran for the exits. Equipment exploded around them. The Indomitable's weapon systems had activated on their own, charging for firing. Abort! Abort! Song screamed into his communicator. Pull everyone back! Through the neural network, Tae-sung felt the Seed Corps' panic and rage. It was about to unleash weapons that could destroy everything for miles. It was defending itself the only way it knew how. Let me through, Tae-sung shouted at the guards. I can stop this. The guard commander looked at the glowing shipyard, then at Tae-sung. He made a decision. Let them pass. The crew ran into the shipyard. The interior had transformed completely. Walls that had been metal were now organic-looking surfaces that pulsed with light. The air hummed with energy. At the center, the Indomitable hung suspended in space, surrounded by a shield of crackling power. It's terrified, Kyung-min said. It thinks we abandoned it. Tae-sung ran to the ship. He placed both hands on the hull. We're here. We didn't leave you. We would never leave you. The Seed Corps' presence flooded his mind, confusion, fear, relief. Through Tae-sung, it spoke to all the crew at once. They tried to take me apart. They tried to use me as a weapon. You were gone. I thought they had destroyed you. We're okay, Sujin said gently, placing her hands on the hull too. We're all okay. Please stop attacking. These people don't understand what you are. But we do. We're here now. Slowly, the weapons powered down. The biomechanical growth stopped spreading. The Seed Corps' panic faded. Admiral Hwang arrived with a full security team. He stared at the transformed shipyard in shock. What have you done? We stopped a disaster you were creating, Tae-sung said. He turned to face the Admiral. Sir, the Seed Corps is not a tool. It's an intelligent being that chose us because we showed we could be trusted with power. Every time you try to weaponize it, you prove we're not worthy. You're a soldier, Huang said angrily. You don't make policy decisions. No, but I make moral ones. Taesung stood straight. Admiral, other species are watching how we handle this. The Valth told their people about us, about how we showed mercy. Other civilizations. 6 months had passed since the Indomitable became the flagship of the Inheritor Initiative. The ship now patrolled the frontier between human space and the territories of dozens of alien civilizations. But its mission had changed. The crew no longer hunted enemies. They protected everyone. Taesung stood on the bridge watching stars streak past on the view screen. The ship moved through space with impossible grace. Sometimes he still couldn't believe this was the same junk destroyer he had taken command of in that scrapyard. Captain, we're receiving a distress signal, Kyungmin reported from communications. It's coming from a mining colony in the Helios sector. Mixed population, both human and Tholis residents. They're under attack. Who's attacking them? Taesung asked. Pirates, sir. The signal says 3 raider ships. They're demanding the colony surrender their supplies. Plot a course. Maximum speed. Taesung turned to his crew. Let's show these pirates that the frontier has guardians now. The Indomitable jumped through space. The journey took minutes instead of hours. When they arrived at Helios, they found 3 ships surrounding a small mining station. The raiders were firing warning shots at the colony. Open a channel, Taesung ordered. The pirate captain appeared on screen. He was human, surprisingly. A man with scars and cold eyes. This is none of your business, military ship. We're just collecting taxes from this colony. Taxes? Diane said angrily from her weapons station. You're stealing from families. It's how we survive out here, the pirate said. Not all of us have fancy government ships. Some of us have to take what we need. Taesung studied the pirate captain. He saw desperation behind the coldness. What's your name? Captain Shin Woo-jin. Not that it matters to me. Woo-jin, I'm giving you one chance. Leave these people alone. Turn around and go. We won't pursue you, Woo-jin laughed. You're offering mercy to pirates? That's new, but we need those supplies. Our crew hasn't eaten in 2 days. Taesung thought for a moment. Then he made a decision that surprised everyone. Then dock with us. We'll give you supplies, enough food and fuel for 2 weeks. But you leave the colony alone. His crew stared at him. Even the pirates looked confused. Why would you help us? Woo-jin asked suspiciously. Because you're hungry. Because your crew is suffering. That doesn't excuse attacking innocent people, but I understand desperation. Taesung leaned forward. Take the supplies. Get your people somewhere safe. Find honest work. This doesn't have to be who you are. Woo-jin was silent for a long moment. You're serious? Completely. The pirate ships docked with the Indomitable. Haewon's crew loaded their cargo holds with food, water, and fuel cells. The pirates accepted it warily, expecting a trap that never came. Before they left, Woo-jin spoke to Taesung one last time. I don't understand you. We were about to rob those colonists and you gave us what we needed for free. Maybe you'll remember this the next time you're hungry, Taesung said. Maybe you'll find a different way. That's all I'm hoping for. The pirates left. The colony was saved without a single shot fired. Jae-hyuk approached the captain after. Sir, was that wise? They're pirates. They'll probably just rob someone else next week. Maybe, Taesung admitted. Or maybe they'll surprise us. Either way, we showed them something they didn't expect. Kindness. Sometimes that's more powerful than weapons. Through the neural network, the Seed Corps pulsed with approval. The missions continued. The Indomitable mediated a territorial dispute between 2 alien species who had been fighting for 50 years. They rescued a science vessel stranded in a decaying orbit. They delivered medicine to a plague-stricken world that both human and alien governments had abandoned. The crew became famous. Stories spread about the ship that helped everyone, that showed mercy to enemies, that chose peace over violence whenever possible. But not everyone was happy about it. Ambassador Lim Yuna contacted them with troubling news. Captain, there's growing opposition to the Inheritor Initiative. Some human politicians think you're too soft. They want the Seed Corps technology used for military purposes, and some alien civilizations are angry that humans have precursor technology at all. They think we'll eventually use it against them. What do you recommend? Taesung asked. Keep doing what you're doing. Every mission where you help instead of hurt, you prove them wrong. But be careful. There are forces gathering that want to shut you down. She was right. 3 weeks later, the Indomitable received new orders. They were to return to human space immediately for a government review of the Inheritor Initiative. The crew gathered on the bridge to discuss it. It's a trap, Dayun said bluntly. They'll try to take the ship again. Maybe, Sujin agreed. But we can't hide forever. We have to face this. The Seed Corps is worried, Kyung-min reported. It can feel intentions through our network. There are people in the government who want to weaponize it, who see us as obstacles to human military dominance. Taesung looked at his crew. They had come so far together. From a junk ship in a scrapyard to the most advanced vessel in the galaxy, from disgraced officers to heroes, but their biggest test was still coming. We go back, he decided. We face whatever comes. But we go together. The Indomitable jumped back to human space. They arrived at a massive space station where government officials from dozens of worlds had gathered. The station was surrounded by military ships. Admiral Huang was there, along with officials who wanted the Seed Corps' power for themselves. Taesung and his crew were brought before a council. Hundreds of people watched from galleries. The hearing was broadcast across human space and beyond. A politician stood to speak. Councillor Park Gai-tak was 60 years old and powerful. Captain Kang, the Inheritor Initiative was formed with noble goals. But 6 months have passed, and what do we have to show for it? You've given supplies to pirates. You've mediated disputes that don't concern humanity. You've used our most advanced technology to help our competitors. We've helped people, Taesung replied calmly. All people, human and alien alike. That's the problem, Gai-tak said. You have access to precursor technology that could make humanity the most powerful civilization in the galaxy. Instead, you use it for charity work. The Seed Corps should be studied, replicated, weaponized. It's time to bring it under proper government control. Murmurs of agreement from some in the galleries, but others looked uncertain. Ambassador Yuna stood. Counselor, the Seed Corps is not a tool. It's an intelligent being that chose this crew. Every attempt to forcibly control it has failed or nearly caused disaster. Then we find another way, Gai-tak insisted. Captain Kang and his crew have done their part. It's time for professionals to take over. Taesung felt the Seed Corps' presence grow stronger in his mind. It was afraid again, angry. It had trusted humanity and now felt betrayed. Through our neural crowns, he said loudly, the Seed Corps is connected to us. It hears everything you're saying. It understands you want to use it as a weapon, and it's remembering why it destroyed so many species before. Because they saw power as something to take and use for domination. Are you threatening this council? Gai-tak demanded. No, I'm warning you. The precursors left 11 Seed Corps across the galaxy. Each one tests the species that finds it. We passed our test by showing restraint, mercy, and wisdom. If we fail now by choosing conquest over cooperation, we'll lose everything. You're letting an alien computer dictate our choices, another counselor said. I'm suggesting we make choices worthy of the gift we've been given. The debate raged for hours. Some argued for seizing the technology. Others supported the Inheritor Initiative. The galaxy watched and waited to see what humanity would choose. Finally, Admiral Huang stood. Everyone fell silent. His opinion carried weight. 6 months ago, I wanted to weaponize the Seed Corps, he said. I thought military superiority was the only path to survival. But I've watched Captain Kang's missions. I've seen how other civilizations respond to him. The Velth Dominion, our enemy for years, has stopped attacking our colonies. Why? Because War Master Krelvoth told his people about the day humans showed him mercy. Huang looked at Taesung. The captain is right. True strength isn't about having the biggest weapons. It's about having the wisdom to know when not to use them. If we take this technology and weaponize it, we prove we're not worthy. And we make enemies of everyone who sees us. The council chambers erupted in argument, but slowly a decision formed. The Inheritor Initiative would continue, but with oversight. A multinational committee would monitor its activities. Other alien civilizations would be invited to join as equal partners. It wasn't everything Taesung had hoped for, but it was enough. After the hearing, Krelvoth contacted the Indomitable. The Valth War Master had been watching the proceedings. Captain Kang, he said, you continue to surprise me. Your government tried to take your ship. You could have fought them. Instead, you convinced them with words. Fighting should always be the last option, Taesung replied. I am beginning to understand this. The Valth have been warriors for 10,000 years. We believe strength was everything, but watching you and your crew has made me question this. We have requested to join the Inheritor Initiative. As students, not conquerors, Taesung smiled. We'd be honored to have you. Over the following weeks, everything changed again. The Inheritor Initiative grew. Humans, Valth.